Spiritual wisdom and experience. Stories ancient and modern. From the Thebaid of Egypt and the deserts of Palestine and Syria, to the caves and cells of Mount Athos, and even beyond to the vast forests of northern Russia. These are the chronicles of the desert. When Anthony left for the desert, he visited several ascetics who lived just beyond his village to learn the best practice from each and to make them his own. In time, Anthony would be bound for the inner desert, but here, with his first steps, he armed himself for battle with a foe who prowls about like a lion seeking to devour us. Who is this, the devil must have thought, that wishes to fill the desert with such discipline? The devil aimed his first attack at Anthony's mind in an effort to lure him back home. As Anthony prayed and fasted in solitude, thoughts of the past, of the sister he left behind, of delicious foods, of glory, and of his former wealth stirred within him. Anthony did not interact with such thoughts, but rather cut them off before they took root. The devil then warned him about the future, of a withered body being the only return for many years of ascetic struggle. Anthony, his will not undone, countered with faith and the sign of the cross, and threw the devil to the ground. Now enraged, the devil went for Anthony's appetite, making loud noises at night so that Anthony could not sleep, and by day scattering the seeds of unclean thoughts and carnal desires. Anthony rebuffed these attacks through prayer and his love for Christ. The devil then appeared as a temptress and tried to beguile him with provocative gestures and a soft voice. Yet even amidst the flames of burning lust, Anthony would not be broken. He braced himself with righteous anger and thoughts of the coming judgment, and extinguished the fire that once sought to consume him. Stunned, the evil one appeared as a little boy whose heart was as black as coal. "I've tricked so many, and so many have fallen. But just now, waging my attack on you and your labors, I found that I was too weak," said the boy. "Who are you?" asked Anthony. "I am the spirit of fornication, and oh, how I have deceived many, especially among the young. But you I could not overturn." "You are much to be despised," said Anthony. "For you are base and powerless, and you shall no longer agitate me. For the Lord is my helper, and I shall look upon my enemies." At this, the evil spirit fled. Time passed, but Anthony did not measure. Rather, he made a fresh start day by day, so as to not lose the strength of his effort. He tamed his flesh, eating only salt and bread once a day, and keeping vigil at night with very little sleep. For he knew the mind of the soul to be strong when the pleasures of the body are weak. Then one day, Anthony entered the tombs near his village, and asked only that his friend bring him a morsel of bread every few days. Anthony prayed in the dark and waited. Soon, a horde of demons approached in a frenzy over such boldness, and thrashed Anthony until he could no longer speak or move. Anthony laid in agony for hours, before his friend came by and returned his lifeless body to the church. The villagers gathered as if Anthony were dead, But Anthony, not willing to let anyone think that the devil has such power, awoke at midnight and asked his friend to return him to the tombs. He laid once again in the sepulchre and prayed. He could not stand, could barely move, and yet shouted, "Here I am, Anthony! I shall not run from your blows, for even if you give me more, nothing shall separate me from the love of Christ." He then began chanting, "Though an army should set itself against me all around, my heart shall not be afraid." The demons became frantic, and their noise made the earth quake and the walls crumble. They poured forth from the broken ramparts in the form of lions and tigers, cobras and wolves, each baring their teeth, growling and hissing as befit their nature. Anthony groaned as they attempted to strike and wound him, and yet he remained in control of his thoughts and steadfast in prayer. The threats and noise grew louder until finally Anthony shouted, "Such is the sign of your weakness, that you come against me in numbers and in the form of fearsome beasts. If you truly had power, even one of you would have been enough. Come now, attack! Do not delay. Why then do you trouble me? For our faith in the Lord is a seal and mighty protection." Suddenly, the demons vanished, and the building was restored. The roof opened, as a pillar of light descended upon a now restored Anthony. "Lord, where were you? Why didn't you appear in the beginning, so that you could stop my distress?" "I was here, Anthony, but I waited to watch your struggle. And now, since you have persevered and were not defeated, I will be your helper forever, and I will make you famous everywhere." Anthony stood up, now stronger than before, and gave thanks to God. At just 35, he had another 70 years ahead in the desert. Yet these early struggles inspired many who followed. Anthony would later say, "Whoever has not experienced temptation cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. Without temptations, no one can be saved." Such then were Anthony's earliest years, where he discovered that God is with us, even in the midst of our greatest struggle.